Today our church celebrates the life of a great and humble man, Saint Alphonsus Liguori. He was named a doctor of the church for his wisdom and giving. He was ordained a priest in 1726 after being a lawyer for just a few short years. It is said that although he suffered from headaches, he wrote 60 books, as well as many hymns, and he played the organ and painted pictures. Imagine, wrote 60 books in the 18th century. I guess no Microsoft Word or whatever it is that we have today to everything doing on the computer or maybe with dictating, by hand. What a gift. What a gift. And you might ask, well, really, what other gifts he might have? And I'm glad you asked. I quote one of his many, many beautiful quotes, one that really affects me and my brother priests as well, and others who preach. And the quote is, "I never preached a sermon that the simplest person in the church could not understand." I repeat it. He wrote, "I never preached a sermon that the simplest person in the church could not understand." Therefore, this is a good lesson for many of us, as I said before, who preach, a good lesson to follow. St. Alphonsus was also known for giving good, solid advice to the priests who asked of him to do so. Many of us have heard beautiful, profound sermons, I'm sure, and others questionable. The question is, how much do you remember the various sermons and homilies that you heard? How much do you remember? How much of them have you been able to relate to others? Just think, imagine. Someone who is new to the church, and of course the language that we use in the church, which is a theological language that many people who don't know the church or religion are not used to. So it can be, for us, very powerful with these beautiful words that are so meaningful and so on. However, when it comes to someone who doesn't know the routine and the words we use or their meaning, it just goes right over their head. Dear friends in Christ, I have no intentions of discriminating the many wonderful priests who preach wonderful homilies. I enjoy them myself. My point is, let's think of the congregation and those we want to bring into the net of getting to know Jesus Christ, His church, and of course, His word found in the Gospels. Let's take today's Gospel, for example. What can a story of a dragnet and the great catch of fish tell us about God's kingdom? See, the two most common ways of fishing in Jesus' time was with casting a net, a hand net, or from a boat into the water, and then dragging it up with the shape of a cone and catching everything that was in the way of the net. As the boat was moved through the water, the mesh was then drawn into shape, into a cone shape, and all kinds of fish, as I said, all kinds of stuff, and especially fish, were gathered in and brought ashore. It usually took several men to bring that net ashore. The point is, Jesus makes here that does not discriminate. Whatever it sees, it drags, it brings in. The church then acts as God's instrument for gathering all who want to come into the church and to learn more and grow in the faith of Jesus Christ. Just as the dragnet does not discriminate, so the church does not discriminate between the good and the bad, the useful and the useless. Those who want to come, they all have a chance to participate with us. One of my sources reminds us that God's kingdom is open to all who will accept and believe the teachings of the church drawn from the Ten Commandments. But there will come a time when separation will happen. At the end of the age, when the Lord returns again and sends out his angels who will separate the good and the bad, and then send them into their respective destinations. Our duty then, yours and mine, is to gather in all who want to become citizens of God's kingdom here on earth and one day in heaven, because our journey starts here on earth. So let us never ever judge. The Ten Commandments are the guides for us to follow, and all we need to do is just point them to the Ten Commandments and live it accordingly. When Jesus comes again at the end of the age, he will give to those who believe in him and his way of truth the righteous and glorified resurrected body and a home in the everlasting kingdom. Perhaps maybe like St. Alphonsus of Liguori, we too can be fishers of people by inviting others to join us on the way to salvation. How wonderful it is, because as we're making our way to heaven, to be accompanied by someone who decided to join us into the kingdom of heaven. How do you say? Well, perhaps by going to Mass with them. If you can attend Mass, take them with you and do some explaining on the way to Mass, maybe even at Mass, quietly. Or if you're not able to go to Mass, I'm sure you probably know of a neighbor or an acquaintance, and invite them to come. Invite them to come and join you. Join you in the prayers of the daily TV Mass, because this Mass is for you and for them. And you have an opportunity maybe to put it on pause and explain, Father's now going to do this, or now he's saying this, and this is why he's doing this. And if you don't know it, well, there's all kinds of books that you can pick up, or maybe you'll call your local pastor and say, Father, when you do this, what does it mean? Because I want to show a friend of mine what this thing means at Mass. That's catching fish. A fisher person, a fisher for the kingdom of heaven. So don't give up. Don't judge. Be yourself. Practice your faith. Don't be afraid if someone criticizes you and says, I can't be bothered. Or I'm too young. I'll wait till I'm old to do it. No, you're never too old. You're never too young. The time to pray is today. The time to gather is today. The time of salvation is not tomorrow. It wasn't yesterday. It's today. May you live in God's kingdom today, and don't do it alone. Invite someone to come with you. And let our Blessed Mother and St. Alphonsus of Liguori guide you along the way. Simple, honest, humble, and of course, straightforward into the kingdom of heaven. God bless you.